Side Life, Side Life Cities. Today I have a very good brother here, Mr. Felix Obo. Yeah,
Oba,
Oba.
Oba,
Oba. Oh,
yes.
sorry for that, Mr. Felix Oba. He has a very good, inspiring story for us, and I want us, mostly from we Nigerians, I want us to learn from the experience he got from here. He's a Democrat here in the United States of America, and I want him to tell us our story, and so we can follow suit and learn from the Aussies. Okay, Mr. Felix, can you tell us a little brief story of your campaign?
Thank you very much for having me. As you all heard, my name is Felix Oba Chukwuenya. I'm an Igbo boy from Nigeria, Abia State, Umunoji, local government to be precise. And I moved to the US about 11, uh, 12 years ago. And prior to moving to the US, I've been involved in politics in Nigeria. I once ran for student union government in my back in Nigeria. I've just had passion for politics, and just like he said, uh, one thing that I've found out that we Africans do once we move to other nations is it's just a few of us that get involved. We just want to work and send money to Africa, build houses. Yeah, it is a good thing we think about home, but the place you're living, you need to be part of what is going on. You need to understand what is going on, know what is going on, be part of people who are making it better. So when I moved to the US, I told myself I will eventually get involved in politics, and uh, the reason being that I'm passionate about my community, and I'm passionate about see it work. Uh, I'm not one that likes to stay on the sideline and complain this is not working, that is not working.
Okay.
I like to look, running a government is one of the hardest job to do. But if you don't know it, you think it's easy. You know, there are so many ideologies when it comes to government. So running of government is quite hard. And you wouldn't know that if you're not in. I've been in a place where I kept complaining, but when I got involved, I saw that it is hard. So back to the when I moved to the US, uh, I moved to the US. I got married in 2013, and then I moved to California. And I was still not seeing the idea of being part of the solution. I've always told myself, anywhere you find yourself, be part of the solution. Don't be part of the chaos. So I like to be part of the solution. Um, Before I moved to the US, I used to be a Republican. You know, I loved the Republican Party. I used to be a lover of George Bush, and then I loved Clinton, and then I loved George Bush. But when Obama ran for office, his oration is what got me attracted to the Democratic Party. The way he talks, the way he carried himself. He's an orator.
Okay.
You know, so I fell in love with him, and then I started studying about the Democratic Party, and I saw that everything that everything that is my ideology is what the Democrats are.
Okay.
They are for the little man, for the pro union, pro workers. You know, uh, I got to know that the problem. I wouldn't say the problem, but the decimation of the middle class in America started from the introduction of the trickle down economies of Ronald Reagan, when he said if the top 1% make more money and save it, they will distribute it to the middle class. And the top 1% started slashing the money to themselves. So, and it affected the middle class. So the middle class of America started dying off. So when I got to know all these things, that was when I switched. This is what back when I was in Nigeria, I switched back. I switched to loving the Democratic Party because I know uh, they are fighting for the little man. So when I moved to California and then I lived in Sacramento and eventually moved to Stockton, I looked for a way to get involved. And when Mayor Tubbs ran for office, I tried to get in touch. It wasn't easy, but one day as at this moment, I've not registered as a Democrat, but I've voted already because I've become a citizen. Let me say this: it is very hard to vote if you're not a citizen.
Yep.
The electoral system in America is quite against non-citizens voting. So if you're doing that, you're breaking the law.
Okay, I have a question, Mr. Felix. So, what is it like? Because I had opportunity to become a chairman in my community back home in Nigeria. That was 2014, and doing that, I was told because I am not from a certain clan in Delta State. I am a Nigerian, born and brought up in that city, Warri. But I was told, the Delta State to be precise, I was told I cannot become a chairman except I am from some certain clan. Does that affect you here?
No. Once you're a citizen in Stockton, I think if you move to Stockton and lived to 9 months or a year thereabout, there's a certain, I need to recite about, there's a certain amount of months you need to live in the community to be able to run for office, right? In fact, in some cases you might not. In some cases, all you need is a residential presence. There are some senators in the U.S. Senate who just bought a house in another state, and because that house is registered in their name, they are eligible to run for office in that state. They are not living there.
Just like that?
Residential presence.
Wow.
That's all it is required.
Wow.
In Nigerian politics, I would say that Nigeria is still practicing autocracy, election by appointment.
Okay.
Because even the Nigerian law states that if you're a citizen, you can run for office anywhere. But because it's been the tradition to, if you're not from this place, you cannot for. In the 80s, there was a governor of Enugu State who was an Hausa man. There was a time an Igbo man held office in Lagos. Okay. Then because of tribalism, it's not just Nigeria, it happens everywhere. The extremism has gone to a point where we can't be able to negotiate now. So everybody's fighting for their pocket. That is why they bring up all these issues. Like just like how PDP got together after they brought former President Olusegun Obasanjo to run for office. Yeah. There was an agreement, after this person is going to be this zone and it's going to be this zone. But it got to a point where the people who had that agreement now no longer believe the agreement that they had.
To their own agreement.
Yeah, they are, because of everybody wants that bite of the cake, and because they know they have the superiority at the moment, that is why they don't agree to the agreement again. There was a disagreement. So, but logically, if you're a citizen of a place, you are able to run for office. That is in the Constitution. That is your civic duty is to run for office and to vote and to be voted for. That is the normal.
Not to be selected.
But to be voted for.
So
because that is what democracy is
all about.
All about the people, for the people, by the people.
So it's very strange, because even presently, as I talk to you presently, in this 20th century, they still do the same thing. I got a call from back home telling me the same set of people are still picking somebody to put in power. They don't want these youths to grow and develop themselves. Instead, they are enforcing people on them.
I would say the problem is also the youth.
Okay.
Because until we wake up, check all the African countries that the youths are waking up. Okay. It is the youth that have become. Senegal just elected a 40-something-year-old boy, 40-something, 30-something. He's quite young.
Yes, he
is. It's until the youth wake up. I should tell us for Africa. Imagine 90-something-year-old man being a president in Cameroon. And it's not about age. It's about being functional.
Yeah, I
He
agree.
is not functional because look, Joe Biden is, if he wins the election, it's going to be 84, 80, by the time he leaves us, he should be around 84, 85, right? He's old, but he is still functional. He can still reason, Forget some people still say he's senile and all that, but he's still, Donald Trump is getting into his 80s, but he's still functional. Although I don't support him, but he's still cognitively okay. But you see these ones who are 90 something who can't even put two words, two letters together. It is because they are not the ones leading. Some group of people are behind them for their pocket
Okay.
because he's made the name, he's got the influence, and he has all, like in Africa, we say by selection, the people go vote, but it is what this group of people tell you, the vote they tell you
That
that
counts.
that count, that not that counts, it's what they tell you that we take.
That's what counts. They don't tell
And
you the
the
ratings and
judicial system, who there is a saying that says the judicial system is the hope of the common man. It's no longer like that. The
okay.
judicial system is so corrupt in Africa to the point that nobody believes in them anymore. Just like what happened in the last election. In last election in Nigeria,
It's heartbroken.
everybody saw it. It was, but then they just brought out one. This technical, this that they just have to find
The
something,
loophole.
just to fix it. It's quite unfortunate.
So,
Is
Mr. Felix, what I really need somebody who can speak to Nigerian youth because I see the problem coming from there. What can you advise these people? Because there's no hope for the youth for calling them the leaders of tomorrow, but I don't see anything they're going to lead.
Yeah, leaders of tomorrow. I'll be 44 in October this year. I'll be 44 years old,
Okay.
and I'll be hearing the youth are the leaders of tomorrow right from when I was a teenager. And yet we've had some young men and women who made giant strides in the political system in Nigeria. But to come out and lead a revolution politically, we're still hiding under our fathers.
Yeah.
Peter Obi did that. Peter Obi, will count him as a young man, but and look, to be quite honest, I'm very proud of the youth participation in the last election,
Election.
both in voting electorally, in the campaign,
Yeah.
and that is quite possible because we are in the age of social media. But it is time that our youth start calling a spade a spade. Because I see some of our youth who on social media, they know this is wrong. But because of, would I say, the democratic resources of their stomach, they will call it something, they will turn black to blue. You get what I'm saying? Just, this is wrong. Call it wrong. Look, when I ran for office in Stockton, one of the reasons why my opponent appointed me to become a commissioner was because I kept telling them, one thing I do not do is I don't run an election of animosity. If I see what is right, I say it. If I see what is wrong, I say it. And I'm not going to call you names because I want an office, I want a position.
Okay.
I rather lose the election than call you names and become your enemy. Which is why, look, it's not, when Peter B was the governor of Anambra State, I was against him, totally against him. There were certain things, that happened there. But the man's political ideology, I love so much. He is so forthright, truthful, and he has been saying the same thing from way back. He hasn't changed his stance. This is why I loved him so much. Even when Soludo was up and down castigating him, he would come and say, "Oh, my senior brother." The way he will address you, even you being an opponent, he will address you with respect. But he will tell you this is what
it
is right.
Yeah.
And my advice to the Nigerian youth is it is time our participation increases. Not just because we want power, authority, and money, but we want a better Nigeria. And it's not just Nigeria, Africa. We want a better Africa. It's not about going to war.
No.
I want to advise people. It's not if you go to war, you lose. You need resources
to rebuild. You're gonna rebuild everything back.
Yeah, and after that, by the time it takes you to rebuild, you could have taken yourself back 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
So it's not just war. We need to participate in election politically. By the time we are able to disintegrate this gag of old men,
Yeah.
there will be change. I heard somebody say, if Nigeria is liberated, Africa is liberated. So we need to start from Nigeria. It was Molumba who said it. Excuse me, Professor Molumba. He said, if Nigeria is liberated, the whole Africa is liberated.
Okay, what do you think about setting up a youth page? And if every Nigerian youth register in this page and they see the numbers of the youth, don't you think that's a very good idea to lift these people up?
Of course. Look, we have next 4 years, right?
Yeah.
If we start now, you'll be surprised the movement in 4 years. So the problem we've had is that we forget election. Election should be every year. In our mindset, we should think it's not because it's over, it's been sworn in, then we are waiting for campaign season.
Okay.
We should think like election is every year. We start planning the next 4 years. It's like me now. I'm still going to run for city council. I ran the last one, I lost the election. I've started plotting against 2026. What I'm going to do, I started trying to build my base because the problem I had in the last election was I had no base.
Okay.
Fundraising was very hard for me. I had like 10% of the funds I needed. So right now I've started building this in towards 2026. So the African youth should wake up now, not election season.
No, you're very correct.
If you want to run for councillor, if you want to run for presidency, anything you want to do, you start now. Start building your structure right now. Which party do you want to belong to? You start being part of the party. And if I will advise, go to a party that will give you the ticket. Because what I've seen with some parties is you win the ticket, and then somebody from nowhere, because he's been in the structure for some time, he's influential in the system, he takes you to court, and the judicial system in Nigeria, boom, they take it from you. And so go to his Labour Party. Nobody who knew Labour Party. I knew Labour Party, but it wasn't that strong. But the person of Peter Obi, his personality took this Labour Party that was nothing to become the one of the strongest structural party in Nigeria. Now you have in Imo State about 10. How many people left PDP to go join Labour Party? He's not hard for before. Just his personality. So if you start building your personality right now, start building your base, start going out there. Look, one way you can build your base is by giving out to the community. The community needs to know you. So you start getting involved with the community and start right now. Start to think 2027 today, because before you know it, 2027 is around the corner.
All right, Mr. Felix, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Inside Life. We have told you, Nigerian youth, Nigeria in general, please, all of you, we need all of you to stand up and get yourself right, get the things right, know what you're supposed to do to move forward. He has said it. Don't wait for the next 4 years before you start plotting what you want to do. Start very now, right now. And youths, focus on the goal of success. Don't just look for this money from these people. You eat it and it's going to be done, and you're going to go back to square one. So this is Inside Life. We're going to be coming out with more and more of this. If you have any question, you guys try and reach out to us. We are on Facebook, Inside Life, as you can see. And this is Mr. Felix Ogba, right?
Ogba, yeah.
Ogba. Okay, I got Ogba. I got it right this time.
It
So
means
you can follow him on this page and ask questions so you guys know more about it. So Inside Life as it is, for now, it's over and out.
thank you.
Thank you very much.